Rallies are planned tonight on the streets of Paris to protest rising anti-Semitism in France and to press authorities to take more action. This comes after the latest anti-Semitic murder. Police say two Muslim men stabbed an 85-year-old Holocaust survivor to death in her apartment and burned her body this weekend. The I-24 News French team spoke with Mireille Knoll's son about the crime.
Listen, everyone thinks that this was premeditated because this man, we hadn't seen him for months, since he went to prison after sexually harassing a young girl aged 12 and had out-of-normal thoughts about her. So he was put in prison and we hadn't heard about him anymore. At the big surprise of our family, notably my wife and brother, the same day he was here, friendly with my mother, drinking port. And we know what happened following to this.
And joining us from France is journalist Faycal Benhassain, who will be covering the rallies tonight. Thanks for being with us in France. I want to ask first question, the protests tonight, what action perhaps specifically do they want to see from police and from lawmakers to better protect the Jewish communities of France?
Hi, good afternoon first. Well, the first thing they would like to show that there are a lot of people in this country who are really against anti-Semitism and racism in any forms. They want, the CRIF, which is the organization that is behind this march, would like the government to take really action. But which kind of action can we take when we have this kind of people who apparently were, at least one of them was kind of nice, and then suddenly he went to an old lady, with no reason, just because I think she's Jewish. It's absolutely horrible. So what a lot of people would like to do is at least to raise the awareness of the French people that this kind of events, unfortunately, still exist in France.
A lot of people are pointing out the fact that one of these suspects recently spent months in prison, the possibility of being radicalized in prison. Will that be a concern about brought in the protest tonight, or is it really about remembering the victim and remembering and celebrating her life and the life that was stolen?
I do think that is the second part that you said. Is really to remember what happened to this old lady, this poor old lady, and to show to her family and the Jewish community here that, well, there are a lot of people who are behind them, because once again, a crime like that has no justification whatsoever. It has to be eradicated completely from this country. So that's the first thing that everybody is expecting from this march.
Do you think, does the Jewish community in France still feel safe? There's been almost a dozen anti-Semitic hate crime motivated murders in France over the last several years. Does the French community feel that authorities are doing enough, that this epidemic is being treated?
I would say that a lot of French Jewish, amongst the French Jewish community, they really are afraid. Yes, they think that this never stops. Unfortunately, it always takes different ways, like this one. Even if he was radicalized, this guy, at least one of the two people, was kind of nice with her, and suddenly he becomes like an animal for no reason. So yes, there are Jewish people who are a little bit afraid, and I think not only Jewish, but a lot of other people, because anti-Semitism is a form of racism, and racism concerns every kind of French people.
All right, Faycal, thanks so much for being with us live in France.